everybody, welcome to another episode of Peace Luv Biz, where we bring the calm to the chaos of entrepreneurship. Uh, I'm your host, Steve Higgins, the Count of Connections, and today we're digging into a topic that a lot of business owners face, especially when working with somebody that they trust deeply. So this is all about business besties and boundaries, and how do you navigate partnerships with intention. So speaking of business besties, how are you, Mary?
I am so fucking amazing.
I know, but how are you?
No, I'm great. Like kicking ass, taking names, really happy, really in my zone. Have all my X-rated rap songs playing and
Uh,
just going through QuickBooks and taxes, man. Just loving life.
that's solid. It's a good way to start. It's kind of going to be a very retrospective style podcast this week, where we talk about our journey a little bit while diving into practical application of how to set up a partnership, what you need to look out for, things like that.
Yeah,
Especially,
I think well, our partnership definitely, but we for all the listeners, we'll definitely have more of our history coming up of how we got to this place because there's a lot to learn from it. What to do, what not to do. Um, Learn from us. Learn from our tolerance,
is that what we're
our
calling it?
ridiculous tolerance. Yeah.
Um, Okay, so where do we want to start? Do we want to start with how we got started, where we met? What are we thinking?
I think that we start in August, where
Okay.
you and I last August. I think that's a good starting point.
Yeah. So Mary doesn't listen to me. That's where we'll start this. No. So me and Mary have known each other nearly 10 years, going on,
Yep.
we passed the 9 year mark. We met at a previous company where Mary was the fractional CFO. I was just a lowly salesperson that was the best in the business, in that business.
Mhm.
Kind of a shining diamond. Um, and it wasn't, it was a good place to work. There were good people in there, but it was super toxic. There was a lot of,
Yeah, our coworkers were amazing. Oh, almost all of them
yeah, and
were amazing.
between us, we essentially had a band of brothers style attitude where we basically just had to get each other through it. Um, I'm sure if,
Trauma bonding,
yeah,
trauma bonding. Yeah.
yeah. And there's a lot of listeners out there that'll have that person in their business or in their work that they'll look to and like, yeah, that's that person for me.
Hmm.
Uh, so that was what we were. Became best friends. There's a lot of stuff that happened that year that happened throughout the years.
Absolutely.
And in the meantime, while Mary was developing Roach Capital Ventures and her self-employment business and all of that with the accounting firm, I was trying to figure out what I was doing with my sales career essentially in business development. I took on different roles or additional roles, I should say.
Yeah. Additional.
Yeah.
You are a living, breathing proof of, um, oh, I don't have any more PTO days. I'll take Janice's PTOs because I'm doing her job as well. You're a living, breathing human of that meme. It's ridiculous.
I didn't take anybody's PTO for the record.
No, but
Um,
you should have.
I probably should have, yeah. Um, but
Yeah.
the went from sales to, while having the sales, I was also doing operations. I was helping with marketing, and that's really
Training,
where
development.
training, leading, event facilitation, the
Yeah.
whole thing. Um, so I learned a lot from that role. So while it was painful, and I think I learned quite a lot there. So 8 years down the line, yeah, 8 years down the
Yeah.
line, I'm transitioning out of a role that I really liked, and I don't remember who said to who, but I've always hinted that me and Mary should do this together, and I should essentially do sales and business development for Roach Capital Ventures and RCV and Mary and her team.
And I don't do well with hints. I
Yeah.
don't understand them. Um, I just don't. Whatever. It doesn't. Diagnosis is not important. It's who I am. I will never pick up. I really bad at social cues. I'm really bad at hints. I don't pick up on them. Just tell me straight up what's going on.
You're not very good with subtlety either. Um,
Yeah, no, I have no subtlety at all.
yeah.
None.
So,
Zero.
um,
But on the positive side, I'm really direct and honest. So I don't bullshit ever. Um,
yep.
so Stephen hinted. I didn't understand the hint at all.
And I finally said, I think Mary actually said, so why don't you come and do this for me? And I'm like, it's about time. Um, which I've learned, as a sales guy, I know that I should have been a lot more intentional. Um, but that's really how we got started, and we talked it out. We established what my needs were in the role, what Mary was looking for, and how I would integrate with the team. Um, and what's
And
great,
wow, that was. I mean, while we're telling the story for people to understand, it's we anybody that has heard us outside of this or watched us outside of this has had meetings with team meetings with us or client meetings with us. They truly understand the energy between us, but it was really uncomfortable for like 3 months, not between you and I, but for everybody else. They were like, oh my God, they really like, they just, you don't understand a relationship until you've been involved and seen it in live in action. And people were very uncomfortable. And what is it? The Tom Brady roast. In the beginning of the Tom Brady roast, Kevin Hart is just pulling out guns, man. He said it, you gotta get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
yeah,
And literally that is the best description of when you and I went, oh, we're doing this. And for like 3 solid months, everybody, well, except for maybe one person, was really uncomfortable. I laugh now, but it's so funny now. I'm sorry. It was so funny to just watch people be like, oh, wait, they're doing this. But yeah, we're fucking awesome. Why wouldn't we be doing this?
yeah.
Sorry. Kind of went on my sideways. But like for people listening, know that people are not going to like it. People are not, when you find that right person, they are going to hate the shit out of it because guess what? You're growing and they're not.
I don't think I set good expectations when I came in, or we didn't set good expectations with everybody when I come in. I think that was a learning curve because I came in as a partner. I came in as it's you and me.
But they knew that. They
We
knew
did
that.
we did say that, but it also left a few people questioning my intention, my validity in the business.
Right. But
Uh,
again, gotta get uncomfortable to get comfortable. Like
yeah,
it had to happen. And it does happen. That's a big thing. It does happen in any company, whether you're a micro, small, growing. Um, People don't like change. Change is inevitable. It's always gonna happen. So just learn to adapt to it. Learn to understand that yes, it's gonna happen. But what can we do? Navigate through it. What do we like? What do we don't like? What are we comfortable with? What are we uncomfortable with? What is our hardcore we can't. I'm not going to negotiate on that.
Yeah.
I'll
Uh,
negotiate on everything else. I'm not negotiating on this. Like my thing was, I'm not negotiating on the color purple, and not the movie, the actual color, and I'm not negotiating on the DBA that we established.
yeah.
I'm not negotiating on those. Everything else I was negotiable,
Yeah.
and here we are.
And that's when, the first 3 months from September, 4 months through September through December,
4 months. Oh yeah,
it was it wasn't really teething issues because we were doing really good work. We were growing the business, we were getting what we needed to done, and it was
hmm
just a case of getting everybody either they had to get on board or get off or jump ship.
yeah, yep.
Uh, it's what happened.
And and because I'm so good at subtlety, that, that literally that's what I said. Get on board and goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, so for me, and this is a nice segue into the glow up versus the blow up. So
Yep.
we know each other's strengths. And one thing that you've said from day one is that you are not a micromanager.
Yeah. No.
That was so fucking weird for me because I was
Oh
used to
yeah.
having a microscope on me all the time, justified, unjustified, whatever it was. And I didn't know how to react to that. Um, since then, I've got really good at it. And
Yeah.
I, we brought Kayla on. I barely speak to her, but she is kicking ass. She's doing everything that we would have wanted her to do.
Yeah.
And learning to delegate is huge for me. And you've taught me that in what, 9 months,
Yeah.
essentially.
Well, and it's. I think I mean, yeah, I hate micromanaging. Micromanaging is just a sign of. I would say poor leadership, but that's not true. It's a sign of non-existent leadership. You need to trust your team, and
That's
if you're micromanaging, you're not a leader. And
I don't
I
know
would like
about.
to think that both of us are leaders.
I know that we're both good leaders. I would say that it's not about the lack of leadership, it's the lack of trust. Because if you can't trust somebody
Well,
to do the job,
but
then
then you're not a leader, are you? If you can't trust your people, you're not leading. Like it
yeah,
all comes together. It's all becomes one, you know? And honestly, if I have to if I start looking at something and going, they need to be micromanaged, I let them go. Like this isn't a good fit. And it's not a mean thing. It's just, it's not a good fit.
see, personally,
And
I think
that's
that you do need some areas of the business that do need micromanagement. Whether it's
well, I
well,
mean, there's
it's
tools
not
for that, right? Like we
right,
use Asana, we use Canopy.
but it's more about communication than it is micromanagement. You
Absolutely. Yeah.
gotta, and when we first started this, we were talking about what are the roles, who is doing what, and where are the gaps in the business.
hmm
And that's where things quickly became apparent that things weren't being done right in certain areas. Things had to change,
hmm
and we made those shifts. Um,
Absolutely.
and yeah, that's a really good point. So we will be right back, and we'll pick up where we left off.
Awesome.
Welcome back to this episode of Peace Luv Biz. Um, Today we are talking about business besties and boundaries, and what we were just talking about was micromanagement, learning to delegate, and both me and Mary learning to let go of roles and responsibilities that we were responsible for before the partnership. Um, and Mary was just talking and saying that, it does take a little bit to let go and remember that, hey, that's Steven's responsibility. That's somebody else's responsibility. I don't need to jump in there. Um, and you were saying, Mary, it's about defining roles. Um,
It is. I mean, we. It's really funny because we have defined roles literally on paper for everybody that works for us. It's just kind of like we just know. We just go, that's a Steven thing, that's a Mary thing. And we always, if one of us wants input from the other, you know, we talk all day. So we definitely go, hey, what about this? What do you think about this? Even during meetings, we message each other privately to ask input. But ultimately, that's a Stephen lane, or ultimately, it's a Mary lane.
Yeah, and it's about being
Um,
intentional. You've got to be intentional with these
yeah.
kind of things. Because
Like, I'm
otherwise,
a person that, like, when I sit down to work, like, not meetings, but like doing taxes and doing financial reporting, I have a sticker that on my desk taped that says 1.25 hours. So and I'm a person of habit. So I take my phone and I set the timer for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And when that goes off, then I'm done and I take my break. I kind of do the same thing when we have meetings. I don't have to do it on paper, but mentally, I now have trained my brain to go, okay, this part is all me, the rest is him, the rest is Steven.
yeah.
And I've gotten a lot better at it because before I was just used to it wasn't an issue with you and I. It was just I was used to me doing it all. And I'm like, oh, that's great. I have Steven. Not my issue.
Well, and that concept comes from knowing what each of our genius really is.
Yes.
Like,
That's an amazing way to put it.
because Mary is an accounting genius, she is a unicorn, and you've got to take advantage of that. That's why we're both in those meetings where it's like, okay, I talk about value, sales, coaching, business development, all of those different things. Mary comes in with the knowledge and the institutional knowledge that she's got from being doing from doing accounting as long as I've been alive, because you old.
Hmm.
And
I am.
well,
Chronologically, I am.
yeah,
I'm gonna live forever.
yeah, you
We
are a
all
Mary.
know it.
It's the Mary Roach syndrome. So yes, you will.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, like I said, you got to know what you're good at, and then you can really define those
Yeah,
roles.
know your genius. I love that. That's a great tagline. Know your genius. Hashtag it. Like, you know, don't. Why do more that you don't have to? That's the other thing. Why do more?
We've
Like,
talked about this in every episode about people doing what they're good at, and that's what it is. It's knowing your genius, knowing to stay in your
mhm.
lane, and if you need help elsewhere, go find it.
Right. Absolutely.
Um, but when it comes to
That's it.
partnerships, you define those roles, but you also need to look at establishing partnership agreements. What happens in case of emergency? We had to look at bank accounts. We had to look at website stuff. We had to look at all the different Sunbiz, all of that stuff, um, and planning for in case of emergency. Um,
Well, and I think this is the part where it's ironic because when I taught undergraduate and graduate, I would literally start with going through what the different entities are. So sole proprietorship, partnership, S corp, C corp, all the things. And I would literally say every class, every time for 12 years, do not ever do a partnership. But if you do, write everything in that agreement that you can't imagine the other person doing to you and what it results in. And ne- this is a never did I ever. If it's not 5 o'clock and it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but I don't have the time to drink today. But this is a definitely never have I ever had a partnership. And wow, I never imagined having a partnership. But in saying that, I never imagined I would have the best human on earth to be my best friend
yeah,
ever.
yeah, we got
Trust
lucky.
implicitly. Like,
And
Never.
it's not all sunshine and rainbows either. We've had our disagreements, and
Oh yeah,
it
fair
happens.
enough.
Yeah, it's we have our own code words and phrases now that
Yeah, we
yeah,
definitely do. We
uh,
definitely do. We're never really angry at each other though. We're just like, yeah, whatever, dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I tend to go silent treatment. Like I go really quiet and waiting for you to blow your fuse out a little bit.
Yeah,
But again,
yeah.
that's about knowing your partner and what they need to
Absolutely.
stuff. So
And there, I mean, they're like, we do also on weekends. We really don't talk on weekends. We that's your family time with your kids, your wife. But like, we'll check in the morning and we'll check really late at night. Like, hey, this is this, this is this, this is this, and we do that Saturday and like maybe once on Sunday. That's about it.
yeah,
We give, and that's the other thing. Like we do spend so much time together, which is great. It's amazing. We have a great, growing business that you have really kicked ass at. But it's also, again, boundaries. So it's like, I know that at you pick up your kid at 4, um,
I cook
you're
dinner.
cooking dinner,
Yeah,
bath time, like yeah, like just know that person, know the boundaries of it.
the weekend stuff is just making sure you're alive as much as anything. Like, do I still have business to work in? Are we still doing this?
Yeah, no,
But you know,
yeah.
um, but it, I think we've seen the evolution pretty quickly. We've grown pretty substantially. We're doing amazing. I've learned a lot in these 9 months, and it is because you've been that good at showing me. Because I know accounting, I know economics, I know sales, but you have to learn how to develop business in so many different industries.
Hmm.
It is different from industry to industry. I think I've done good, and you've told me I've done good.
Well, you've done amazing. I
That's
think one
really
thing I
English, isn't it, Stephen?
one thing I have learned is that I think we were talking earlier about like your non-negotiables. And there's been a couple times, well, more than a couple times, where I've been like, I can't handle any more XYZ clients. And at the end of the day, that's not the answer. It's being flexible. It's just getting the right connections. But
Yeah.
you've done all that. We've gotten all the right connections, you know? It's been amazing.
Yeah, sometimes you have to take what you can get,
Yeah.
and
And
but make the best of
the energy that I don't care if it's someone labels it snowflake or whatever. I don't give a crap about your labels. When you show up and you meet with somebody, I don't care if it's a potential client, potential contractor, potential employee, potential partner, potential friend, potential date, you feel a certain vibe. Trust that vibe.
it. Yeah.
Trust that vibe.
We kind of know within 5 minutes of meeting somebody if it's going to be a good fit or not. Um,
I know within like a minute
yeah.
because you'll get. I'll be like,
Well,
no,
well, yeah. No, you're right. But between the two of us, it takes 5 minutes because I'll give somebody 5 times the benefit of the doubt.
oh yeah, you will. Yeah. Oh, implicitly, yes, you will.
Um,
You will.
but I think that's just a me thing, you know.
It
Uh,
is. And that's what makes us work. That's what yin and yang about us is. I'm just nope, f that, and you're like, well, give it one more good old try.
yeah.
Okay,
The one thing
but
that
we
we have,
make it work.
yeah, the one thing we haven't really touched on is the money side of things when developing a partnership. And that's just a discussion you've got to have kind of out the gate. What are the goals for the business? What are you trying
Yeah.
to, how are you going to split your revenue,
Yep.
reimbursements, all of that.
Yep.
But we have so many. projects, plans in mind, and we see the vision, if you have the same vision, the money won't really be an issue. And
No, 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 no. And I'm like, I think you're getting better. I'm just a person that I've never worried about having money in the bank. And I'm not rich at one day, but not currently. But I know that I wake up and I bust my ass every day and I work hard and I'm ethical and I don't screw people over. So I know everything's gonna be fine. Um, I've always been okay that way. It all works out in the end. It's all works out. So if you feel like you're in hell and struggling with that, sit back and go, what's the real concern with that? Because there's a deeper concern, and maybe it's you think that you're not good enough. Well, why do you think you're not good enough? Do you think you're not good enough because you're not good enough or because someone's told you that? There's a big difference. Someone can tell you, you can, if someone tells you every day that you suck, guess what? At some point, you're going to start believing it. So don't be around that type of person. You know, the money's always going to be there. We have all the projects and plans in place. We strategize, we build them out. We don't rush to develop anything. We take our time, we discuss anything worth having. There's never going to be pressure.
I agree. Um, the money. I know how much we do, how much where our financials are, so I know that we're good.
Hmm.
But I've
And
come
we
from.
have those conversations.
Oh yeah, we are always having those conversations. That's that
Hmm.
transparency and the communication side of things of having a good partner.
Completely,
Um,
yeah.
but I always question if I could be doing more. There's times where I could be, but you basically tell me to forgive myself because I have done so much in such a short space of time, essentially, and that we are doing good. So,
I mean,
um,
everybody can do more. Anybody on planet Earth can do more. But if you don't, if nobody's dying, just don't put the pressure on yourself. Get it done. Like uh, I've had my mental space messed up for a couple weeks. I am freaking fabulous now, and I know once I'm good, and I go in my zone, and I've just been turning crap out one after the other, so it all works out.
yeah. I think we're starting to wrap this up a little bit because I think we've gone
Yeah.
through what we need to. But what we have done is created a worksheet for if you guys are looking to if you have a partnership or if you want or looking to start a partnership down the line, you can look for a partnership clarity and boundaries worksheet on peacelovebiz.com. Um, it's got some really good questions on there. A lot of different sections about, roles, responsibilities, where the foundation of the business is, money, boundaries, communication, all those different kinds of things. Just to keep you straight and narrow. And if you do want to connect with us as well to establish partnership agreements, we have people that can help do that as well. Um,
Mhm.
so definitely get in touch with us. Um, but yeah, what are some final thoughts, Mary, that you would put towards establishing a partnership like this?
Um, Definitely keep it communication open. Have the hard conversations. Make sure you have paperwork. Um, Make sure you have paperwork.
Yeah.
I do have one closing thought though, on
Mhm.
apart from all this. So definitely, or did you have something to say about this before I say something? Okay. So definitely on purpose and not on purpose. Last Sunday was Mother's Day in the United States, and we forgot to. Well, I didn't mention it, but happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I typically, mm, I don't know, I'm in a different version with Mother's Day. Um, but because of my two children passing, so a lot of people hear it, don't hear it, they don't know, they do know. I did have two children. They both passed away. So sometimes Mother's Day is okay, and sometimes it sucks. And sometimes at 8 o'clock in the morning on Mother's Day it's great, and sometimes it sucks at 8 o'clock at night. But to all the moms out there, happy belated Mother's Day.
Yeah, it's a good way to finish it. Um, yeah, I did not rest on Mother's Day, and nor should I, because I'm the dad. But Mother's Day weekend last weekend, Saturday was all about mother-in-law, grandma, and the family stuff. Sunday was all about Rach and doing what we could there. And thankfully, it rained in Tampa, so we just went to Busch Gardens and nobody was there. So it was amazing. Yeah, it was it was empty. Um, so yeah, we had a good time. But yeah, so I, I guess until next time, guys. Yeah, here's my final thought. Um, Truth about partnerships is boundaries don't break relationships; they protect them. And love is not a replacement for clarity. That it's the reason for it. So you really want to be communicating with your partner, get things straightened out, establish those boundaries, and just have fun, make money, and trust yourselves. Um, so if the episode resonated with you guys, do yourself a favor, share it with your business partner, your business bestie. Have that boundary talk, and it might be the best business move that you guys make. So until next time, we've been Peace Luv Biz, where peace of mind meets the bottom line, and we hope you have a peaceful week.